how we're starting this.
I love it.
Welcome to Story Sirens, the podcast where we discuss our favorite myths and monsters from legends, movies, books, and folklore. I'm Yenny.
And I'm Sarah. And wait a minute. What is a siren?
Yeah.
Does this have anything to do with that office siren trend on TikTok?
What is that?
Okay, well, we'll deal with that later.
Oh.
And I guess, the answer is kind of, but not really. Actually, way not really. So let's dive into it since we are calling ourselves Story Sirens.
Yes.
So sirens are creatures found in the myths of a multitude of cultures. From the Philippines to Egypt, Slavic to Grecian, you can find mention of sirens or siren-like creatures in their myths and legends all over the globe.
Yeah, it's like a worldwide phenomenon. This is what I love too, just about all types of myths and legends. Like, most of these are worldwide, and they're like a little different in like each country or place, but they all kind of derive from the same thing, which is crazy.
Right? We're all the same.
We're all the same.
In Western cultures, we most often recognize sirens from the Greek epic, The Odyssey.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that book too much, because that was my high school time, and I hated that book. I loved it, but I hated it. I had to do so many essays.
I'm sure you would like it more as an adult. Like most books we're forced to read in high school and junior high. It's like, oh, this is terrible. And then we read them as fully formed adults, and we're like, oh, okay, that's not bad.
I guess now I am a fully formed adult, I guess.
Oh, that's weird. So anyway, the Odyssey was written sometime in the 8th century BC, and hold on just a second. We'll edit that out.
I don't know, that was a really cute sneeze. I might leave it.
Oh, it was. I turned my head away from the microphone because I sneeze like a father.
No, you were like, achoo.
It's because I knew I had an audience. All right. So anyway, the Greek epic, The Odyssey, was written sometime in the 8th century BC. In this tale, there are two sirens that are but one of many perils Odysseus and his crew must attempt to survive as they try to make their way home to Ithaca. While their physical appearance is never described in the Odyssey, we do know that their voices were so alluring and entrancing that Odysseus instructed his crewmen to plug their ears as they rowed the boat, but he would listen to the siren call while he was tied to the mast of the ship. At this time in the siren mythos, they were not viewed as beautiful sexual beings, but keepers of secret knowledge.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to finding out how exactly we shifted from this cool keepers of secret knowledge to this hot mermaid chick who sings, and then you just go to her because she's hot.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of sexist vibes that I realized while we were doing the research and stuff. I'm like, as we go more into today's society, it just got worse and worse. It's all about being sexy. So,
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel.
The objectification of the human body.
At its finest.
But anyway, so the sirens called to Odysseus, saying that they would tell him everything that occurred during the Trojan War, as well as things that had happened in other parts of the world. The very curious Odysseus strained against his bonds to chase after the sirens, but his crew had done an excellent job of securing him, and the ship rode past the sirens without incident.
And I want to stop right there because this, I don't know who else is a conspiracy theorist, and this goes back to my partner Alex will have moments where he wakes up and he's like, all I need to do today is continuously have in the background conspiracy theories going on. And I remember one of them, this all makes sense, I promise. One of them was about sirens. He got really into sirens.
Ooh.
And there's so many little videos of people in on the boat or something, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, they're hearing these things, and
creepy.
Oh my god, what is that? But it's such bad acting. But
right.
Alex looks at me, he's like, did you see that? Did you see? And you want to go on a cruise?
And you're just You, like, just don't want to break his little heart going, honey.
Come on, baby. That's, like, obviously, like, someone singing in that. That's Sarah singing in the background. That's all it is. But it's crazy. There's a lot of conspiracy theorists today that swear that sirens are real. And I mean, there has to be some truth to the myth, right?
It comes
but
from
it's
somewhere.
Yeah, it comes from somewhere, but there is so many, like, you guys can go on YouTube and be like, Sailor heard siren song, and there are so many videos of, like, these, like, eerie sounds that come while people are in the vessel, or, like, a sailboat, a boat, a big boat, whatever it is.
And generally, it's, like, in the middle of the ocean, so, you know,
Yeah.
that ship-bound cabin fever is setting in. So, continuing with our siren legends and sort of the history of sirens, the author of the tale of the Argonautica, Apollonius of Rhodes, wrote that sirens were part woman and part bird. This is kind of our first introduction to a descriptor of their appearance. It's one of our first Grecian introductions to their avian appearance, and this is around the 3rd century BC. In terms of, this is our first introduction to this appearance in the written word. In Grecian pottery and artwork, sirens were often depicted as birds with sharp taloned feet and the heads of women. So they were birds of prey.
Wait a second. They're not creatures of the sea in Grecian terms. They're birds of prey. That is so much cooler.
Right? They are birds of prey, but here, to make it even more confusing, they are categorized as sea monsters in Grecian myths.
Wait. So they're birds of prey in the sea.
They're coastal. How about that?
Jesus.
Right. And so while this description of their appearance makes it sound like they are the same as harpies, their primary difference was their purpose. Harpies were creatures of vengeance and punishment, while sirens were a bit more complicated, and we'll get into that.
I know you're gonna hate me because I always go into a tangent, but I think, but that's why we have this podcast, because
Exactly.
And I have to pause and say that every time, like, I am so attuned to the 90s, like, my head is just constant 90s cartoon and TV show descriptions and all this jazz. And anytime I hear the word Harpy, I think of Yu-Gi-Oh! And, like,
yes,
stay with me on this. May's Harpies.
The Harpy sisters.
Oh my God, that was, like, the coolest thing. I was in love with May. And, like, I was a big, like, shipper of Joey and May. And I think that their story should have been way more
I
than
totally
just,
agree.
like, she being like, yeah, she was like, I just don't, like, we aren't good together, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's still, I don't know. I'm in love with May's character and Joey's character, even though he made no sense because he had a Brooklyn accent in the middle of Japan.
Hey, this is what happens with dubbing in the 90s and 2000s.
Oh my God. I loved it, though. I love it. And yeah, this is all I think about. So when you say Harpy, I don't think about Greece.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't think about any of that. I think about Yu-Gi-Oh!
We think of the heart of the
cards.
Heart
of the card. Well, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Anyways, you can continue, Sarah. I now deem it worthy to continue. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for gracing me with my airtime. So, in the Argonautica, the tale of Jason and the Argonauts, we are introduced, finally, to the siren song. And Jason must recruit the help of the musician Orpheus to drown out the singing of the sirens to protect Jason's crew. Happily for the Argonauts, they're able to pass by the sirens without being harmed. Tragically for the sirens, they were cursed by the gods that they would live until a human survived their call. After the Argonauts escaped, the sirens of this tale threw themselves into the ocean and perished.
Oh,
sad, right?
Well, yeah, but wouldn't that then, now I guess we could say that it mixed into becoming creatures of the sea, correct? Because, like,
possibly
they went into there, so maybe not all of them perished. Maybe one of them found a really sexy fish and they had babies, and so sirens were born. Or no, we don't have to say sexy fish. Maybe there was, like, a water nymph in there, and
it's
water
mythology.
Nymph,
don't limit it to our current animal kingdom. So, but with the sirens being cursed by the gods to, they would live until a human escaped their call. Perhaps this explains their insistence upon killing any and all sailors they come across.
Ah, makes perfect sense. Ho-ho.
Yeah, totally. So still around this time, sirens were referred to as male and female, but shortly after this point in Grecian history, sirens became exclusively female.
Sexist, maybe. But
well,
I mean,
it's because we're keepers of secret knowledge, so they know who the brains are.
Okay, but still, I would love to be called by a sexy male siren. Listen, if Alex had a fishtail, I'd still do him.
Listen, if Chris Hemsworth were out on a rock somewhere calling to me saying that he could tell me all of the mysteries of the world, I'd just have to look at my husband and go, please, you gotta let me find out.
I would hold your husband. I would be like, Jared, just once.
But then also, if Jared had a fishtail as well and promised to tell me all the secrets of the universe and the world, I mean, I'd still be good for that too.
Yeah, right? I mean, yeah. But also Chris Hemsworth. I mean, would you share Chris with me though? Like maybe I can have him
like joint custody?
Monday to like Wednesday.
Yeah, we can figure something out. We'll trade holidays.
Yeah, we have like a tank for him.
Oh gosh. Okay. We're getting way too sidetracked. So, all right. So the sirens appear in the myths of several Greek deities, though the origins of the sirens as a species varies. They're often attributed to gods of the air and sky, and in some myths, their avian form is said to be Oh, see, you're not the only one stuttering. And in some myths, their bird-like form is said to be a punishment from the goddess Demeter for their failure to prevent Persephone's capture by Hades.
Is it you say Demeter or is it Demeter? I go by the Hades game.
Yeah, I'm not
Demeter.
entirely sure because I have heard it both ways. And so I'm sure somebody in the comments is going to tell us that I'm totally wrong and whatever. But I'm doing my best.
Tomato, tomato. Also, just because we were talking about Hades, it's coming out soon.
I'm so excited.
The pre-release, right? You told me that it already released in like Steam, was it?
Possibly. I think so. I don't quite remember, but I think it's the pre-release right now. So I'm excited.
Me too. Anyway.
Okay, so yes. So their form could be a punishment. Some myths also say the sirens were assumed to be the daughters of a river god and a muse. This particular lineage is interesting to me because sirens were sometimes portrayed as the antithesis of the muses who fostered creativity and light, while the sirens gave rise to darkness and distress.
You know, I'm not too upset with that because, you know, give me the darkness and distress, you know, but also does this makes sense because isn't Orpheus the son of a muse?
Yes, yeah, he's the son of a muse. So see, we've got that sibling rivalry going on.
Yes.
And while sirens were often praised for their beautiful voices, as we mentioned earlier, at this period of time in Grecian mythology, they were primarily viewed as a symbol of hidden knowledge and secrets of the world. Think back to what they were telling Odysseus, what they were promising to reveal to them. And so,
Sarah, this makes us the secret keepers, and our listeners. We are giving them the knowledge
for a limited time only.
Oh, there you go.
And so this view of their symbolism also makes sense when we think of the first depictions of them. Birds in Greek myths are associated with the gods, higher knowledge, and otherworldliness.
Ooh.
And so, on the subject of the sirens' otherworldliness, let's move away from Greece. In many Middle Eastern cultures, sirens are often depicted in funeral art.
Well, this took the dark and distressed turn.
Exactly. They are sometimes regarded as beings who help guide or usher the souls of the deceased on into the afterlife. On the walls of a Turkish village that dates back to 6500 BC, there's a depiction of a vulture goddess ushering the dead onward. Many historians believe she is a precursor to the siren. There are also depictions in the art of ancient Egypt around 1500 BC of human souls turning into human-faced birds as they begin their travels to the underworld.
Oh, yes. Actually, you see a lot of these human-faced birds, may I say, furries.
You
depicted,
may not.
depicted in Egyptian tombs and other hieroglyphs. Like, they're like tending to the sarcophagi or ushering the dead. So it's pretty funny that we're talking about this. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and this particular creature in Egyptian mythology is known as the Ba bird, which allows the deceased to fly back and forth between the mortal world and the underworld. The Ba was the non-physical aspect of a person, similar to a soul, and it was a part of pharaohs and commoners alike. This is also most likely what inspired the Grecian idea of sirens being guides to the dead and keepers of immortal secrets.
Whoa.
The Egyptians had the Ba birds, and the Grecians went, yeah, this works.
Yeah, and now I like this one better because before we're just keepers of secrets, right? Now in Middle Eastern cultures, we're now keepers of immortal secrets. So now we're immortal. I like this.
I like that. I see what you did there.
You see?
So, with all this in mind, with Ba birds and siren birds and all this sort of stuff, how did sirens go from being bird women to mermaids?
Well, I've been waiting, Sarah. Yeah, I've been sitting here, taking my time.
I know you are. Thank you. I thank you for your patience. So, art from the Renaissance period, the 1940s to the 1520s, begins to depict scenes of sirens with fishtails. Now, this may coincide with the ocean being viewed as a great source of mystery and danger at this time period. So the sirens moved from being keepers of mysteries of the world and the otherworldly to keepers of the mysteries of the deep.
Oh, because, again, going a little bit sidetracked here, we don't actually know much about the ocean. So I feel like that mysteries of the deep kind of really goes well with that. I believe we've only explored and charted about 5% of the ocean. And before anybody else saying, no, Yenny, we know about 10%. Yeah, that's what we know is less than 10% of the ocean has been mapped using modern sonar technology. But we haven't been able to go past like 5% like ourselves. It's quite scary, which I do believe that the Mosasaurus is still alive.
You
today.
Tell him, Yenny.
And
Long live the Mosasaur.
Yeah, Camp Cretaceous likes to tell me that I am correct because the meteor didn't do anything to the ocean. Now, did it? Sarah? The meteor only killed the land animals. But what about all the fishies in the sea? AKA Mosasaurus. That puppy is still alive.
I freaking love this.
Thank you for coming to my conspiracy theory TED Talk.
So moving from Mosasaur to sirens, some historians think that with the rise in popularity of mermaid legends in the 18th century, the two creatures, sirens and mermaids, were combined.
Ooh. And actually, most sailors are drunk or going through seasickness or some other type of like disease. I think typhus was another one that they would go through in boats. Right?
Oh, they're all pretty
so.
delusional, and they were all suffering pretty heavily.
Yeah, so most of them, there's been tales of a lot of sailors, like, the biggest conspiracy thing is like, oh, well, all sailors seem to say the same thing. But because they're so drunk or, going through sickness, most of them would actually confuse sea lions, manatees, and even whales with sirens, aka beautiful ladies.
Exactly.
So at some point, someone met a sea lion and fell in love, and the sea lion was just like, what's going on?
Oh, that poor sea lion.
That poor sea lion. Or that whale. That whale is just like coming out, having a great time. This guy just tries to jump on. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. So that, yes.
Wait.
Uh-huh.
That would also make sense with the siren calls because whales make calls. A whale's call. That would, oh my God, I just solved the mystery. I
All
just
right,
solved
there are
the
no more
mystery.
conspiracies.
No more conspiracy. You hear that, Alex? I solved it. The whales sang, and the dudes thought it was a chick. And that's it.
So, along with that, with the
Sarah's
calls
done
of
with me.
seals and whales, in these more modern legends, and by more modern, I mean 18th century,
Very modern.
Sirens appear as a warning against pursuing illicit relationships and lust, or relationships with seals and manatees and whales, and the dangers of pursuing selfish endeavors. After all, the men who desire these women are often destroyed by them. This move to the aquatic also symbolizes a move away from the esoteric, especially with the Enlightenment, and a move away from the supernatural and more towards the physical. The sirens of this era are more sexualized. Their calls are no longer the secrets of the world, but a beautiful song. So they've basically turned into succubi that swim.
I still feel that birds made them more badass instead of going and sexualizing women. And I believe that in this era, there was a lot of sexualization going on. A lot of eroticism started in the 1800s, did it not? Like
It started way before then, but at this point in time, women are still just, property and items. So
yeah. Was it the chair? Was it that chair?
We're not talking about the chair, Yenny. We're not talking about the chair.
Come on. I want to talk about the chair. Fine. If anybody's interested, just Google the Renaissance chair for women. And
I was gonna say, I don't remember which king it was. So if you remembered, I was gonna be very proud of you.
Wow. Well, I don't remember. You're the history buff. I'm just here for the giggles, okay? And the chair. And the chair. All I wanted to do was talk about the chair. You don't let me talk about it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think we may have spoken about Western sirens for long enough. Let's talk about the sirens in the Philippines. So, in the Philippines, the sirena is a sea creature that looks to be part woman and part fish and has a beautifully irresistible singing voice. They are guardians of the water and of water deities, and they're more mermaid-like. And there are even male sirens known as sirenos.
Oh, well, I'm gonna assume that it's not Sirena and it's Sirena and Sirenos.
You know what? You're not just here for the giggles. You're here to correct my pronunciation.
Because I love how Tagalog in Spanish sounds so similar. Because in Spanish,
well, I mean, the Tagalog is heavily influenced by it.
Oh well, you want to go that route. Well, then why did you say Sireno? You know Spanish. You should have said Sireno and Sirena.
Sirenos. I'm sorry. I got nervous.
In Spanish, mermaids are also called sirenas. So it's really it's
so
super cute.
Well, and this all makes sense, Yenny, considering early Spaniards in the Philippines who saw the rivers of the Ilocos region heard stories about the swift currents carrying people away, or swimmers claiming that they felt something pulling at them in the water when the currents grabbed them.
I'm pretty sure that was just like kelp.
I think it was, like the swift moving water, because if you have stepped into a river or a current, or think of a riptide in the ocean, it feels like something is grabbing you.
Yeah.
And so these tales prompted the Spaniards to say that it was mermaids, or sirenas.
Oh my God, sirenas.
Sirenas, who were responsible for the little grabby grabs.
The grabbies.
There are stories of vicious sirens and kind sirens alike, like the story The Liato and Sirena. And that one, it is a name. It's a person's name, and I'm still probably mispronouncing it.
Okay.
But this story tells the tale of a male water spirit falling in love with a beautiful human girl and turning her into an immortal mermaid at the cost of his own immortality.
What?
I know.
Why?
I know.
Why make her immortal and then you mortal? So she's gonna live to see you die? Look at.
Oh, no, it's better than that. They lived together for 100 years, and then in some versions of the story, at the end of the 100 years, he turns into a rock.
This sucks. I'm not okay with this. This is not. How is that? Well, you actually put in the script tragic romance, so I agree. This is a tragic romance.
I love a tragic romance.
I'm not okay.
I live for it.
What is this, Romeo and Juliet? What kind of, I don't like it. I don't like it.
So now that I'm very self-conscious about how my Spanish and Tagalog pronunciations are absolutely failing you, let me ruin your day with my Slavic pronunciations because we're moving to Russia.
Yeah.
So in Russia, the siren and the alkonost, again, to my Russian listeners, of which I know there are many of you, I'm sorry, I am trying.
We try.
But the siren and the alkonost are magical creatures with the heads of a woman and the bodies of an owl, a bird of paradise, or a kingfisher, of all birds.
Huh.
So the siren, they're spelled very similarly, but the siren and the alkonost are sometimes two separate characters and sometimes alter egos of each other, one being a good side and the other being the bad side, although this is a bit of an oversimplification.
Oh my God, Sarah, do we have alter egos? I feel like we need to name them if we do.
Ooh.
I feel like your alter ego would be like, you know what? I'm going to give you a Russian alter ego.
Oh, she's Russian. Oh, my comrade.
Samantha.
Thank you so much. Samantha? That's not a Russian name. Fine. Your alter ego is a white woman named Kathy.
I'll take it. I'll be Kathy. Can I be Southern too?
Of course you can. Oh my gosh. All right.
Kathy and Samantha, the Russian.
All right. So depictions of Siren and alkonost can be found on jewelry, pottery, and even in Bible illustrations from this time period, as some legends say she lived in the Garden of Eden.
Oh.
Some stories also claim that only those who are truly happy can hear her beautiful song.
Oh, well, that confirms our depression, because I don't fucking hear a song. Oh my God, I said the F word.
Just put a little bleep on it in the editing. It'll be fine.
Well, yeah. Do you hear the song? I haven't heard the song. Have you heard the song?
I haven't heard the song either. I'm a little worried. But then there are also stories, hey, there might be hope for us yet. There are also stories stating that she would drive men insane by giving them promises of future happiness and make them forget themselves entirely.
Ooh.
If that's not a description of anxiety or not, I don't know
that's
what
also
is.
it.
There we go. So whether, now granted, she is promising them future joys rather than future catastrophes, as those of us with anxiety do. But anyway, whether she was doing this as an attempt to distract them from their current suffering or doing this as a punishment for their wickedness depends on the person she was singing to.
Oh.
So you could be a unfortunate casualty of her song, or you could be punished. It was believed that the ringing of bells or the firing of cannons would keep you from hearing her songs and promises. It would also keep you from hearing anything else, I'm sure.
Wait a second. Can you imagine how many people died? Oh, how are you today, Samantha? My husband and all our cattle died because someone heard the siren, and they fired a cannon. And why can't you just ring the bells?
Yeah, just ring the bells.
Why
just ring the
cannons?
bells. Are we having are the cannons there for
help?
group hysteria? So in pre-Christian Slavic legends, the Siren and alkonost were born from the healing waters of a river on the island of Buyan. The alkonost was described as having bright, colorful plumage that only grew more colorful and beautiful as she aged. And the siren was said to have dark feathers that reflected the night. Both were considered guardians of good fortune, even if hearing the cry of the siren meant you or someone you knew was near death.
Well, yeah, you're near death because Richard from 2 farms down is going to send a cannonball whenever they hear something. So, yeah. You are going to be near death no matter what, because there's cannons flying everywhere. I don't know about this one.
But hey, if the cannons blow up his cattle, then the value of your cattle go up. So see, still good fortune. So with all of these notes
that's
of
terrible,
the
Sarah.
Yes.
The cows are dying.
His cattle, not yours.
Oh my God. You cattle rancher, you?
I know. But with all of these details of Siren and Alkahest, it's easy to see the connection between them and the sirens and fates of Greek myths.
This is true.
Right? And so I feel like we've covered a lot of history, but fear not. Don't you think our modern era is without its sirens? We have them.
Yes.
For those of you who have seen the Coen brothers film, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? It is a retelling of the Odyssey set in 1930s Mississippi and features 3 women doing laundry and swimming as they sing to our protagonists, trying to keep the men with them.
I need to see this crazy movie because I've never heard of this.
Oh, it's a fun movie. It is a fun movie. Sirens obviously make an appearance in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians book series.
Oh, Sarah, be careful. Don't you dare bring up Percy with me here. That's another tangent.
All right,
regarding
pause
my
the
seaweed
tangent.
brain.
Pause
Don't do it.
In 2018, the TV series Sirens debuted, showing how the mythical creatures interacted with the people of a small coastal town. Naturally, there are also sirens in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, with one siren falling in love with a human missionary.
You know, which we never figure out what happened to him, and that bothers me. Does he drown?
Right?
Does he have little guppy babies with... I wrote this and I still can't do it. Does he have guppy babies? You remember from... we were talking about this, right? In Futurama, that Fry...
Yes!
has
he
to
meets
give
the
birth
mermaid.
to the baby. He's like, nah, I'm out of here. I ain't getting pregnant.
Oh my gosh. I love it. Okay. So continuing with our modern sirens, because I know those were some very obvious examples, but in the show Love, Death, and Robots, the episode Hibaro focuses on a river siren and a deaf conquistador. And in the same series, sirens take a sort of sci-fi turn in the episode The Very Pulse of the Machine, when an astronaut stranded on an alien moon follows a mysterious voice, hoping to find rescue.
All the episodes in this particular show is so good. Well, they are so good.
They are so good.
Like, every episode leaves you, like, thinking about life.
Exactly.
All the time. I love it. And also the Hibaro, that particular episode scared me because she was creepy.
She was,
but she had moves.
You feel so terrible for her. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like, so no spoilers for those of y'all who haven't seen it, but hurry up. It's been out for a couple years. Sirens appear in a multitude of genres of music, from opera to folk music to rock, often symbolizing desire and danger. In the Philippines, the mermaid siren character Daisabel is a popular comic book character whose stories have been adapted into film and television shows.
Ooh.
I think they're still going.
Oh.
There are makeup trends today to help you achieve the siren eye look, and fashion trends that help you look like you guessed it, office siren.
Okay, you promised that you were going to tell. What is this? What is this office siren?
The office siren is basically sort of a twist on the femme fatale character, but like make her corporate. So basically where, you want to look like the, most attractive woman at the office and at the business. And it's strange. I would highly suggest Googling it because it's a very interesting fashion trend that I think some people have taken a little too far, whereas others are like, oh, yes.
Oh, my God.
I love a pencil skirt.
No. I can't be... You see, this is where problems start. I can't wait for I got fired for dressing like an office siren story time goes.
Ooh,
because
those are going to be great. Those are going to be so great.
It's going to happen.
So pop culture has turned the siren into a symbol of the dark feminine.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Is that all?
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with being dark, feminine, mysterious, and all of that jazz. But like maybe I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it because I still feel like it's a sexualization, you know?
Yeah, it still feels very much an objectification. So.
Yes, it definitely feel like objectified. Yeah, definitely.
But on a more philosophical side, psychologists and scientists and motivational speakers all warn us of the modern era against the siren song of distractions. Go and Google modern day siren song, and you'll find several articles warning against the constant need to check our emails, text messages, and social media.
Oh.
But that's a discussion for a different podcast.
Dude, that is so true.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, so now that we've learned about all the types of sirens in our history, what do we think about our name, Story Sirens? I know we're depicting ourselves more as like the mythical creatures of the sea, but bird women ain't that bad. And now like I want to redo our like thoughts of like our art because I want to be winged characters too. I don't know.
We could totally do that. I definitely like the idea of us being the keepers of knowledge, and we are no longer keeping it secret.
Oh, I like that. I really like that. Yes, yes. Well, Sarah, this was a really great episode filled with like 50,000 like tangents. You
I
didn't
love
let me
it.
go into Percy Jackson because I would have gone down. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, listen, we can turn that into a series.
Oh my God, don't even. Oh my God, we should. Yes, we should do like a Greek myths series. Just
Well,
like, yeah.
On that note, before you go way too far,
No.
thank you for joining us with Story Sirens.
Thank you so much, guys. And let us know if you guys have anything that you want us to deep dive into. It would be really fun. And yeah, have a great day. Don't do the office siren thing, or I mean, do it, because like it's your choice, I guess.
It's your choice, and we want to see those videos.
Oh
so.
my God. All right, guys. Bye. Thanks for listening to Story Sirens. You can follow me, Yenny, on Instagram at YennyAnn, and also Sarah on Instagram at Sarah Ruth Voice. Want to support us? Buy us a cup of coffee on Ko-fi by searching ko-fi.com/storysirens. We've got lots of treats for those who become siren seekers. See you soon.